Alright, so I've been getting a couple questions about how I set up my WoW models in 3ds Max. I'll give you guys a quick rundown here, not going to be too much of a long video. So we start off in WoW Model Viewer, pick the model of your choice. I like to first create a base mesh that I can use in 3ds Max, that way I don't have to keep exporting out different characters. So I'll go under View here, Show Model Controls, and then I'll just enable all the different geo sets that I'm going to need. So, you know, the different styles of boots, different styles of bracers, things like that, hairstyles, whatnot. I'll export it all out like that. That way I can pull it apart in 3ds Max and then have a modular setup. That way I don't have to keep exporting things out of WoW Model Viewer. Just make sure that under your export settings you have initial pose only. And whenever I export a model, I usually export it as both an OBJ and an FBX file. The reason behind this is that some pieces are easier to work with as an OBJ, some are easier to work with as an FBX, and you just kind of mix the best of both worlds. With the FBX file format, there are bones that get exported as well as skinning, but it's crap to work with. I would highly suggest just skinning it yourself. It's going to be a lot easier to work with in the future. So if we pull up 3ds Max here, this is my priest character that I had in my previous render, and this character is set up the exact same way. So everything is modular. Let me just go ahead and hide that. So I have the chest here, the robe, the arms, bracers, the hands, the head. Everything is in pieces. And that makes it very easy to quick swap in and out. So let's say I wanted to change the texture, and maybe that texture has different geo set for the gloves, or maybe it doesn't even have a robe, maybe it's just regular pants or something like that. This way, this system that I've been using makes it a lot easier to swap things in and out of. And when it's time for render time, what I'll do is I'll grab all the pieces that should be connected, so the chest, the bracers, the robe, the head. I'll actually isolate them, do a snapshot, and then weld all the pieces together, and then use a skin wrap modifier, and then put an open subdiv modifier on top of that. So that's what I have right here. So basically, by doing this, you create a intact model. It's all welded, so there's not going to be any light seams or weird shading or anything or any other artifacts like that. And with the open subdiv modifier, you get a nice smooth result. So for example, if I were to render this out, you'll see that it's very smooth. There's not a lot of jagged edges, and it makes things like reflections and different material effects look a lot better, because for game engines you can get away with sharp edges because the game engine is designed to handle that, but for rendering programs it's using actual ray tracing. So by having those sharp edges, you're not going to get the best result, and things are going to just look weird and just bad. So this method I find is really good for that. As far as the skeleton that I have, I'm using Cat Character Animation Toolkit that comes with 3ds Max. For facial animation, I'm just using morph targets set up with Reaction Manager, so that I can control things like the eyes, the mouth, and do whatever, lip sync or talk. And yeah, hopefully that kind of answers some questions. If you guys have any more, leave them in the comments and I'll try to get to them. Thanks.